Can you imagine my dismay last year? Several weeks away from launching Young Ascended Masters, my first meeting with the children. I just got done working with a branding expert, all this time and money going into creating, fleshing out what I visioned for this business to be, the logo. And I take my material and I show a friend of mine. She was so kind in her response, but she said, it's all great, but I would choose a different name. I was crushed, but I listened to her and she had a great point. She said, half the world probably doesn't even know what an ascended master is. And if they do, they might be the parents of some very gifted children that want to look at your group, but they don't think their child is quite that far along to be a young ascended master. So they might overlook your group. They see their kids as doing somersaults off the couch or having just beat up their younger brother or something like that. So just know that's potential for being disappointing for you, to say the least. Well, if you fall into that category, doubting whether or not your child really is a young ascended master, then this message is for you. So who are some common ascended masters in history? Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Mother Mary, Saint Germain. An ascended master is basically a soul who has reached that level of enlightenment and an evolving consciousness that no longer needs to choose to reincarnate here on Earth. So instead, they may show up in human form as a teacher, a healer, a prophet, but it's not for their own soul's growth and expansion. It's more for the benefit of humanity and to move us along on the ascension path. So I still totally believe and know that Young Ascended Masters is the right name. And it's actually perfect. And it might be the perfect place for your child, given what I'm about to tell you. So a couple of years ago, I ran across a book entitled Anna, Grandmother of Jesus. And it's channeled from a woman named Claire Hartsong. So my awakening experience in my late 20s, when Ascended Master Jesus became known to me, that will be another video, because I'll say that he plopped himself down in my passenger seat one day. Since then, I've had a real connection with Jesus in the human form as well as Christ consciousness. So when I came across a book that gave me a different view, sort of my Catholic upbringing view of Jesus, with a metaphysical perspective, I was really, really fascinated. And what struck me most about this book, among many things, was Anna's description of Jesus as he matured through childhood and how he needed to adjust to his physical structure. Now, it's stuff I never really considered before, but we know that he likely possessed little to no veil as he was born. He definitely carries the high vibration of an ascended master, but he still chose to come into this human suit. He still was subject to the same limitations of the physical body and the density of this planet. So he needed to be taught and guided how to manage the vibration and the emotions on this physical plane. He needed teachers, mentors. Anna explains that when he would be overwhelmed emotionally and have these downloads, that he would go off by himself to a cave. I just find this so cute to picture. He would go off by himself and discover ways of dealing with what was going on. That his father actually tasked him with finding ways to allow and transmute the energies that were coming through him, but to do it without judgment, which we all know is the key. As she described him, I can't help but thinking, if he were alive today, that he certainly would be labeled ADHD. So what I found so significant in reading these pages is a real shift in my energy. I felt as if I had just received permission to stop struggling so hard to overcome what I perceived as my own human limitations, and to stop believing that if I was only more spiritual, I wouldn't struggle so much in life. It opened a whole door for me to really perceive my humanity differently. And I figured if Jesus himself struggled in ways to be human, who am I to think I can overcome these and bypass these struggles? So he and other ascended masters who walked on this earth were faced with limitations and needed guidance and mentors to help them navigate this third dimensional world. So I really see us as enlightened, awakened light workers. Take that back, not quite enlightened yet, but as awakened light workers, that's really our personal and collective missions, is to be these teachers, these mentors for today's high vibrational children who are carrying these same energies as ascended masters of previous times. So I challenge you, I encourage you to take a new look at your own children with new eyes and be open to a potential that perhaps we haven't seen before. We have no clue what our divine blueprints really entail. So on that note, one, never say never. And I will leave you with our goofy question, not so goofy question of the night. What ascended master do you most connect with, or perhaps want to connect with? Okay, thank you. I think this was longer than my 5-minute maximum that I've been talking about. So have a great night, and we will see you next time.